We'll start in a seated position. Tuck your chin to your chest and look up to the ceiling as best you can, nothing extreme. We're just going to start by warming up our necks and then our middle back and our lower back. We'll try to tuck everything forward and extend everything up to the ceiling. So imagine there is a string attached to your sternum, and that is what's pulling you straight up to the ceiling. Try as best you can to get an arch in that back. That should be nothing extreme. Remember, we're just warming up. So move within a range that is comfortable for you. Again, here it's all about the range of motion that you can do best. I was a dancer and gymnast, so keep in mind my range of motion may be a little bit more than the average person. So now include the rest of your back, especially your upper, so you can use your arms to kind of push yourself back and forth. If I'm going too fast, you can also slow it down to the pace that is most comfortable for you. Now try to roll down, touch the floor. When you roll back up, really try to imagine you're bending through each vertebra up your spine. And now extend, reverse curve down, and really curl up. Now when you push up, if your back is feeling like it's a little bit strained from doing this, just push up with your toes. Push up with the bottom of your toes here. And reverse curve down. And push up. Again, just do your best here. If anything is sharp, stop doing the movement and just scale it back a little bit. Now twist side to side, arms over your chest. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Right now, reach your arms back. Reach up to the ceiling, and you can't see in this screen there, but you're going to clasp your hands at the top and try to straighten out your elbows to really stretch everything up and back. You can even add a little bit of an inhale here to get that extra bit of a stretch up top, and exhale as you bring your arms down. Now let's stretch out the pec muscles. So keep your elbow right in line with your shoulder at first. Step forward with one of your legs and allow your chest to fall forward into a comfortable position. Now when we're holding a stretch, you want to hold the stretch as if we're able to hold it for 5 minutes if we needed to. Obviously, we're not going to be holding it that long, but our goal here is to hold each stretch until we don't feel that same intensity of stretch, because that means those tight muscles have began to relax. So you can focus on your breathing here. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Or just inhale and exhale through your nose, honestly, whatever is easiest for you. And now push away with the leg that you're standing on and move your arms about 45 degrees downwards, so your elbow should be below your shoulder now. We're stretching out different fibers of the pec muscles. And do not bring your shoulders to your ears. Try to keep your shoulder blades down. This will just make sure that you're stretching the proper muscles and not putting any excess stress on your neck or your shoulders. If at any point you need a break, you can just take yourself off and wait until I go into the next stretch. And now, if you can, lift your arms so that your elbows are above your shoulders, and same thing, reach forward. This will get more of the lower fibers of the pec muscle. And slowly push away with your leg. So we're going to move on to the next stretch to stretch out the lats as well as a muscle called the serratus anterior. So get into what's known as child's pose here. So you're going to sit on your heels, and if this is bothering your knees, you don't have to compress them quite like this. You can put a pillow between your heels and your glutes so that you're not putting excess pressure. But you can also do this in a seated position as well, and just reach up on a countertop or footstool. So we're going to walk to the other side and stretch out. So you should feel a nice, comfortable stretch down the side you are walking away from. Remember to breathe through this. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose or mouth. So we'll walk back and we're going to reach. So if that's not comfortable for you, and it wasn't very comfortable for me, I'm actually going to come up onto all fours and then twist. So this just is a little bit more comfortable. However, it is a little bit more intense. So you can even modify this. You can completely sit on your heels and twist, or you can come up fully, or you can come up halfway and twist. So I want you to, again, inhale and exhale so that we're stretching and working these ligaments of our back. We're working the muscle of stretching them. We're working our diaphragm. We're introducing our bodies to what exercises we will be demanding of them, because we want the muscles around this rib cage to start working how they should again, so that we have less muscle spasms, we have better breathing ability, we have more flexibility and more mobility and more strength as well. So now we're going to grab either a water bottle, or if you have a foam roller this size, that's perfect. So we're going to place our elbows on the chair like so. And you want your knees in front of your hips so that when you go to sit back, you can arch your upper back. Now see how I'm resting my forehead on the table there? I want you to do the same. And if you can, for that final stretch, you can bring that foam roller or water bottle closer towards your back. So take a little bit of a rest here. And now sit back, let that upper back arch. Inhale. And when you exhale, just get that little bit of inch further. And if you really want to go for the full stretch, bring that foam roller or water bottle towards your back. And relax off. And arch. Inhale and exhale. Imagine every time you're getting a little bit further. This is a great stretch to work on the mobility of the thoracic spine and the rib cage. And it's a great one to work on stretching out that lats and serratus anterior muscles. So now we're going to further work on the mobility of the T-spine by putting a different type of force. So if you don't have a foam roller, I'm going to suggest you to roll up a towel about the size that you see there so that you can work on extending. Now I want you to cut behind your head and don't tuck it and bring it, jamming it towards your chest and sternum. I want you to keep a nice space between your chin as if you're holding an apple between your chin and your chest, so it's not getting squished. You're not making apple juice here, you're just holding the apple. And now we're going to go slide inch by inch up and try your best to touch your head. Now, if this is too intense, you can just hold that one position as opposed to going further and further up your spine, because the further and further you go up closer to your neck, the more difficult it's going to be. Again, keep in mind, I was a dancer and a gymnast. So this is, the ideal flexibility that you shoot for. However, it's not always natural, especially if you haven't practiced those movements potentially all your life. So keep that in mind. So next we're going to grab an elastic band here. We're just going to start by introducing a little bit of resistance as we're still stretching out our lats and abdominal muscles. And we're just going to be going back and forth here. So the first time I came a little bit too far, we're just going to reach up over our head, try to keep your elbow straight as best as possible, and come directly over your chest. And we're just going to be repeating this pattern. So if this is putting too much stress on your shoulders or back, you can put a pillow right underneath your knees to put your back in a little bit more of a neutral position. Otherwise, if you're enjoying this type of stretch or you feel a good type of stretch or your muscles are working, that's a great exercise to do for warm-up wise and postural wise. Now we're going to try to find a heavier chair around our house or the leg of a couch to tie the elastic band. So we're going to try to put it into a type of a V. And we're going to start working on strengthening our lats. So the lats are opposite to those upper fiber of trap muscles. So those trap muscles are like the top of your shoulders and they go all the way up to the back of your neck. So oftentimes when these muscles get too tight, our lats become weak. And we're lying on our back here to keep our back nice and straight. We want to try to keep our elbows and forearms gliding against the floor the majority of the time. And you should feel the contraction along the sides of your rib cage and down your back. So squeeze everything back. And my knees are bent here to give more stability. So remember, when you're doing this exercise, I want you to pull your shoulder blades down first. Pull your shoulder blades towards your tailbone and then pull your arms down. So pull your shoulder blades down to engage those lats, engage that inferior fiber of traps. And repeat. Pull shoulder blades down and pull here. And pull. So our whole goal here is to wake up these muscles that we haven't really been using and to get blood flow to that area. So now we're going to work a little bit of the core. So pull the elastic band so that it's right over your chest here. And we're going to try to work on squeezing your core. So see how when I'm lifting my leg just about an inch off the ground, my body did not move at all. I don't want any shifting or tilting like a teeter-totter of my hip bones. I want them to stay nice and square. The only thing that I want moving are the legs. So switch to the other side. We're only holding for 5 seconds and placing it down. So how you accomplish this is you exhale and you hold your stomach tight as if someone's about to punch you in the stomach. Take a little bit of a rest here. And you squeeze your pelvic floor as if you're trying to interrupt the flow of urination. Okay, so squeeze everything again. So someone's about to punch you in the stomach and squeeze your pelvic floor. And now if you can, lift your leg up into a tabletop position and lower it back down. Again, really focus on your leg being the only thing that moves and your body is not twisting. So if at this level you're noticing your body is slightly moving, scale it back, just either go to level 0. So see here how it's teeter-tottering. If I don't contract my core, do you see how much my hips move? We don't want that. See, the difference here is quite extreme. And you really want to focus. So this is a great exercise to train your core and to train your spine to be stable as the rest of your body is moving, so that when you're hiking or playing other sports, your spine is treating you well and your core is stable. So now shift yourself so that the elastic band is either pulling you to the left or right. We're going to do both sides, so it doesn't matter which side. and repeat it from the top. So this will get a little bit harder. This is now the next level because it's pulling you not directly back. You have to squeeze your core in a more intense way so that you do not have the tendency to fall towards where the band resistance is pulling you. So if at the last level you were able to go in a tabletop position with your leg, but this one is just a little bit too difficult, just lift your foot an inch off the ground and call it at that, or just keep your core tight the entire time and really just try to focus on that squeezing of the core and holding of that pelvic floor. Now we're going to twist around to the other side, and you don't necessarily have to twist around like I just showed you there, it's just easiest for me. Same thing in the tabletop position. Keep everything very tight and keep repeating to yourself, tight core, pelvic floor, tight core, pelvic floor. You have to constantly repeat things because your body does not have those neurological connections from your brain to these muscles at this point. So you need to make it a habit until that becomes something natural for you. Tight core, pelvic floor. And rest. Now we're going to actually tie and make a knot with the elastic here because we're going to be working on rotational exercises to work on the strength during these motions, because it'd be nice if our bodies could just stay stiff all the time. So we're going to wrap it around like this. So wrap it around twice, and we're actually going to grab it as well. I didn't show that here, but you're actually going to grab that hanging end. So when we twist off, there is nothing kind of jiggling around there. So as best you can, you're going to twist up. So you should have no sharp pain, nothing like that. You may feel a little bit of resistance, almost like something stuck. And just do your best to work through this range. So the entire time I'm keeping my core tight, holding my pelvic floor, and I'm trying to rotate up. So if at any point you feel like the resistance is just too much for you and you're really noticing your shoulders being pulled towards your ear, you're not able to comfortably rotate up, then what you have to do is just relieve the resistance. So just go closer towards the couch or the chair that you tied the elastic band to lower the resistance. So really make this movement intentional here. And we're going to go to the other side. So wrap it around the outside first and cross around, up and over, and grab it. And you're going to use your other arm and step over the elastic, because if you don't, it's going to get up into your neck and that will choke you. So we don't want that. So now twist first towards your other arm, and now twist to about tabletop position. Twist here, let your arm really drop, and twist back up. So it's not my arm that is moving, it's my upper body that's doing the majority of the movement. So I don't want you to cheat and just move your arm. The point is to develop strength in rotational forces in your spine, because when we walk, when we run, when we move in general, the thoracic spine does rotational movements, because that is how we propel ourselves forward. Okay, it's one of the mechanisms that need to happen. So if this is a weak point in our body and it's difficult for our body to do this, it just makes doing everyday simple things just like walking difficult for us. So we want to strengthen that. And now we're going to repeat on the other side. So start, wrap it around first, over top, underneath, around, and grab it. And now rotate away, use your upper back, really rotate out, and slowly control it back. We want to control this movement. We don't want to be jellyfish. We don't want to be rushing through these movements. We want to feel the muscles contracting. We want to feel our spine moving. We want to feel our core and pelvic floor squeezing. And don't forget to breathe here. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And if at any time this is too many reps for you, you can stop. Remember, it's a video that you are following on YouTube. You can pause the video and you can stop it at any time and resume when you can. And now repeat to the other side. So wrap it underneath, over top, and grab it. Remember, with the other arm, reach over the elastic so it doesn't come up underneath your neck. And we're going to twist towards the opposite arm and twist to 90. Best you can, try to get the majority of the movement all from the thoracic spine. Just a few more here. Now unravel the elastic. We're going to untie it. And the last strengthening exercise we're going to do is actually for a serratus anterior. So just use your knees as a reference. So we're going to tie around our knees and make a little bit of a bow to get the tubular elastic. So we're going to come over to a wall so we can stretch out the elastic. So we don't want our elbows to not be in line with our wrists. We want our wrists to maintain alignment with our elbows. So hold it right in front of you, about 90 degrees of elbow flexion, and do not arch your back. You want your core to stay nice and strong here. So you're going to try, when your elbows are right in line with your shoulders, we're going to now slide our forearms up the wall, maintaining the wrist right in line with the elbows, and bringing the elbows down. Now, at no point in time did I raise my shoulders towards my ears. I'm trying to keep my shoulder blades pressed down as I'm reaching my arms up the doorway here and sliding back down. Now, this can be quite intense here. So as soon as you start to notice your wrist being pulled in, as you can see my wrists are being pulled a little bit inwards, I realize that I'm getting about max here. So if this is at that point, you can get a less intense of an elastic band, or you can also just lessen the amount of space that you have with your elbows. So a few more here. So the other option too is you can bring the elastic band towards your elbows to help decrease some of the intensity of this exercise. So remember, keep your wrists in line with your elbows. Keep your shoulder blades down and reach as far up the wall as you can. Great. Now we're going to finish off with a little bit of a stretch here. So try as best you can to clasp your hands behind and reach everything up. Remember that string attached to your sternum. Reach your chest up to the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. So it looks like this in the back. And if this is too difficult for you, you can also just grab a towel to place behind you to, grab one end of the towel and grab the other end of the towel so your hands are getting as close as possible. Now we're just going to finish off with a simple cat and camel. So stretch out the back of your shoulder blades as much as possible. Look up to the ceiling, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And make a reverse curve. Try to tuck your chin towards your chest and reach everything up. Push your shoulder blades together and down to your tailbone. A few more here. Slow it down as you need. All right, and that is the end of the video. So if you have any questions for me or comments, please leave that below in the comments section. And as always, please subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified of any new videos that I release in the future. And if you have any suggestions or requests of videos for me to release in the future, also leave that in the comments below. Thank you for all your support on this journey.